Hi everyone, my name's Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today I'm going to share with you a cute little card, and it looks just like this, and it uses a technique called kissing. And it's down here, I think you're great. It's so adorable. And then this is the inside panel. So let me go and show you how I created this card. The first thing that I did is picked out my stamp set. We have a stamp set that's absolutely perfect for kissing. The stamp set is called I Think You're Great, and it's got a couple of kissable background stamps, and then it's got some really cute word stamps that with shapes that will really show off that kissing. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll teach you this technique. The first thing that we're going to do to make this full card is we're going to start with this gorgeous color. It's a new in color from Stampin' Up called Cucumber Crush. I've cut it at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored it at 4 1/4. Then I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to use my bone folder to crisp up that fold, and then it helps our card lay flat while we work with it. And then the inside panel, I think I'll go ahead and share that with you right away. It's 4 by 5 1/4, and that's Whisper White paper. And then on the other side, I have a little strip of really nice designer series paper from the pack that is called Cherry on Top. And there's a lot. This is one of our new 6 by 6 papers, and there's different designs on each side, and it gives you lots and lots of options. And so it's just such a bright, fun, cheerful, summery color. So it was easy to find papers that worked with this card. So that, again, that's a 3/4 by 4-inch strip right at the bottom. Then I have used another stamp set because I thought it went so great with the saying. The outer saying says, I think you're great. And then on the inside, I used a sentiment from World of Dreams. The best thing about a person like you is that you bring out the best in everyone. And so I'm going to use some Stays on Black, and I'll stamp that sentiment with Stays on Black right on the inside panel of my card. Then we're going to just use a little bit of snail on the back right at the top, and we'll put that right on the inside panel. And then that inside panel of our card is complete. So we'll just set this right in here. Just want to center it so that all 4 sides are even. All right, now let's work on the front panel. So I'm going to bring the main card back into play so that you can kind of follow along with my layering. The first layer is, and there's lots and lots of layers, but it's a very simple card to put together. The first layer is a 3 3/8 by 4 5/8 inch piece of basic black. And I cut that so that the next layer is 1/8 inch smaller because we want some really skinny layers here. And that layer is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I have that cut out in a new in color called Watermelon Wonder. At the same time, I went ahead and I also took some Scotch tape and adhered some ribbon on the back. This is our new dotted lace ribbon from our Stampin' Up! In colors for this year, and it's so gorgeous. This is the Cucumber Crush, so that will match the card base. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to use some glue on the back, and we are going to set this right into that basic black layer. And the reason I picked glue is that way I can kind of wiggle it into place so that all 4 sides are even. And you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but I can see how easily that wiggles into place because it is such a skinny little layer. The next layer is going to be Cucumber Crush. This is 2 7/8 inches square, and I'm just going to add a little multi-purpose liquid glue to the back of this layer, and we're going to layer that right into this Watermelon Crush layer. What I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure all 4 edges are equal from the top of the ribbon to where the black cardstock is. And I think that looks good. The next layer is that pattern paper that I just showed you. And the name of that pattern paper is called Cherry on Top, and it's just so cute. And this actually uses some of the cherries that were in that pattern paper. This is 2 3/4 inches square. So again, a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on the back. And we are ready to set this onto our card. So I'll bring the card base back in, And again, we're just going to use a little strip of multi-purpose glue on the back, and then we're just going to set that in right on the front panel of our card and make sure it's nice and even. All right, now it's time to get a piece of Whisper White scrap, and I cut this with a punch. This punch is our 2 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. So I am going to add a little glue on the back, and we are going to set that in right here. We want it to come down a little bit onto the ribbon, but yet have plenty of space up here to show off that really cute summery designer series paper. So now all we have to do is our stamping for the front of the card. So I have a piece of Whisper White scrap, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this background stamp, and we are just going to ink it up with Watermelon Wonder and set that aside for a second. Then we are going to ink up the I Think You're Great sentiment, and I am going to stamp that off onto some scrap paper. So I'm just going to stamp that off once onto some scrap, and then I'm going to kiss it to my background block and just give it a nice firm push. And what that's going to do is it's going to make a really pretty background image on my piece of scrap here. Now let me hold that up to the camera so you can see exactly how awesome that looks. You can see the background all over, and it just looks really cool. And I do want to show you what happens if you don't do that lighter color on your sentiment. So let's just say, this is the big experiment here. Let's just say we've inked up your background stamp, and then we're going to ink up the sentiment. And then instead of stamping off once, you just go for it right over the top. You are going to see that the background is a little bit lost. It pretty much looks all one ink color. So let's go ahead and punch this out. So I have my 1 3/8 inch circle punch. It almost punches in here perfectly, but there is a little bit of white that is going to show. And to remedy that, we are going to take a sponge dauber, and we're just going to ink that up in some Stays on Black and just daub all the way around these edges. And another thing that does is that also helps to sort of bring attention to that black border so that you can see how that makes this pop a little bit and ties it in with the black border. So now all we have to do is put some dimensionals on here and add it to the card. So here is our card, here is the sentiment, and we've added some dimensionals and it is complete. So here's the one I started with, here's the one I completed for you, and I truly hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I sure enjoyed sharing it with you. If you'd like to see more ideas, visit my blog or maybe check out links to my store. Be sure to visit www.stampingtoshare.com. Have a great day. Bye-bye.